Tool number two, we talked about after you do your time audit, you trash. That's number one. Tool number two is to transfer. Now, in that same company, I had a podcast that was recorded in a radio station, and I had an engineer on the other side of the glass that did the audio engineering. So by the time I hit the parking lot, I had both episodes. We recorded two 30-minute sessions back to back. By the time I hit the parking lot, Alan was so good, I had the raw audio in my inbox. And that's not where it ended. I didn't just post that. There was some work to do when I got back to the office. But here's the thing. What I did was I entrusted the next step to a team member who excelled at this. So the next step was to embed that audio file into a show card, as it's called, for YouTube. That's a picture that has the name of the guest and their photo and a description along with mine and the name of the podcast. That's embedded into a show card that then the audio runs as a video on YouTube with this show card displaying the entire time. Now, I don't have an eye for design. I clearly know that is not a strength of mine. So I was happy to transfer or delegate this task to my coworker. Did an excellent job of it. By the time it came back to me, it was a complete product. All I had to do was upload it to YouTube and disseminate it through Podbean, something that would send out the podcast to different podcast platforms. That was my last step, and then I was done. I loved to do the interviews, loved to do the radio show, did it for 2 seasons at that radio station, really enjoyed it, over 40 episodes. I greatly enjoyed that experience. One reason I was able to do so many is because I delegated that task of the show card. As small as that might seem, it was draining for me. It took my time away from other things, and I wasn't really good at it. By the time I got it back, all I had to do was put it on YouTube and distribute it. Very simple. That's what enabled me to do that because I delegated it. So here's the clue. When I've worked with when I've done business coaching for other businesses, and they are setting up tasks to be transferred, to be delegated, the more thorough they were on that, the more likely they were to have a successful transfer. See, sometimes when delegation happens, the setup isn't done thoroughly, and so it doesn't work. The person is not a mind reader. They might not have ever worked with you before, so they don't understand your communication style. They don't understand your intent. You haven't walked through the process detailed enough to where when you hand it off to someone that it has a high chance for success. So guess what happens? That task comes back to you, and then it's like, well, delegation doesn't work. I can't transfer this stuff. Oftentimes, you have to go into greater detail than you think to hand it off to someone. A successful transfer is highly dependent upon the setup work before you do. So set people up for success. If you're going to transfer a task to someone, go into more detail than you think. And one tip that I used for business owners was, especially if it's a computer-based task, do a video tutorial as you walk through it. Share your screen, record a video of you doing the task, talking about it as you do it. This is so much better than a written standard, if you even have one, let alone just, hey, here's my notes, go do that. Walk through the process on video because the person who's going to be taking that task on can pause, take notes, walk through it at their own pace, watch it multiple times. Videos while you're doing the task are so much more effective. The business owner that I recommended this to had great success with it. When transferring tasks, set up that person for success, record your process, especially if it's computer-based, and then show them what you're doing while you do it. That will enable you to transfer those delegatable tasks, if that's a word, tasks that can be delegated more effectively.